What's happening, folks? We are here for the full recap of Wilson Lake, Wilson, Kansas, with the All-American Kayak Series. I'm going to give a full fishing recap on the tourney here, talk a little bit about the excitement beforehand. Before we get going too far, thank you guys so much for all of your support on the likes and the shares and the follows. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, that's our social channels there. Subscribing on YouTube, huge help, folks. Can't tell you how much that means to us, and how much that helps our efforts. And your continued subscription to our channel is a major help. So thank you guys very much for that. If you think of anybody that might also be interested in watching some of this, share the channel with them. Let them know we're out there. It really goes a long way to helping us stay on track, stay on mission here. Helps us basically create more value. The more followers we have, more subscribers we have, it's a big deal. So thank you guys so very much. So recap, here we go in. We wanted 2 days of pre-fishing. All right, that was our objective, just because we had not been to Wilson ever before. So I wanted to get in a couple days to really be able to buzz around this place. Pretty good sized lake. And I wanted to get a good lay of the land from the dam all the way to the inlet on this thing, man. We just wanted to see what we were up against.
Toll booth.
And that's my truck telling me I'm on the tollway now, heading home here. So, at any rate, ultimately, we left on Wednesday. It's about 6 hours to get to Wilson from the house. We left on Wednesday. We got into camp Wednesday night about 7 o'clock. It was very hot, very humid. Getting camp set up there, dude, I was drenched. Seriously, I was sweating like Mike Tyson in a spelling bee, y'all. I mean, it was for real. And so yeah, we got done and got camp all set up. And I'll fast forward this deal. Bottom line was, I ended up not being able to sleep real well at all on the air mattress in the tent that was on the trailer itself. And so I was sitting in the pickup with the AC on, just kind of cooling down. And I think I dozed off for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, somewhere in there. Next thing you know, I feel the pickup shaking and moving. And I look out and the wind is going, man. And it was middle of the night. It was about 2 o'clock, 2:30. Lightning dancing, heat lightning everywhere, dancing all over the skies. And yeah, man, the wind gust picked up and did some serious van damage. So I had my tent on the trailer, tied, strapped down, and then a 10x10 that kind of encompassed both of those things. And the 10x10 was spiked with a pair of, on each foot, a pair of steel spikes, and then some landscaping rocks to weight them down, and then everything tied off to the trailer. Well, I'm happy to report the spikes held, the rocks held, they did their job. The problem is the metal of the legs did not hold. This wind hit my 10x10 apparently just right and thrashed it. Dude, I had snapped metal pieces everywhere. This thing folded up and over the trailer, hit the side of the pickup. Thankfully, no damage to the truck whatsoever. But the thing got nailed. And earlier, we had discovered that there was a small leak in our air mattress, which was not so cool. So duct tape to the rescue. Yeah, well, at the end of the deal, when everything was all said and done, one of those metal spikes from the 10x10 went through the air mattress. Not spikes, I'm sorry, one of the metal rods that broke. Boom, punctured it. And so yeah, it's donezo. It's over. And so at that point, the rain fly that was on the tent got ripped off, literally ripped off from the wind. Dude, it was there was some good winds going on here, and I think it had everything to do with where our campsite was on the top of this bluff point on Wilson, Manuka Park. If you look on the map, you'll see it. South side of the lake, kind of midway, and like right in the center of the lake. It sits up on a bluff, and so yeah, we were just getting hit perfectly with those winds. So, at any rate, that got smoked. So the rest of the night, if you guys follow the social channel, you saw the after effects that I was doing video about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Basically hung out, tried to get a little bit of sleep, wasn't working. And by the time things kind of calmed down and I was able to kind of see camp a little better by pulling up to it, shining the pickup's lights on it, started getting cleanup done. And dude, what a mess. Everything, all my bedding was soaked. I mean, camp was basically wiped out. At which point, of course, the brain starts going, okay, so now what? Do we go into Walmart, which was about an hour away to the closest Walmart, or some sort of store somewhere that I can get another air mattress, some patchwork stuff that I can, go to work on it. And at this point, if it rains again, we have no protection from the rain other than sitting in the truck or sitting, in the tent. So, as far as working on gear, cooking or whatever, that's not going to happen. No shade whatsoever because there were no trees in this area. And it's like, okay, this is not going to work out well. And then I had to make a very tough call. Do I just shake it off and go out pre-fishing on Thursday anyway and then figure out the stuff later? But me wisdom and the old guy in me basically opted for, no, we need to go get our lodging squared away and then get some freaking sleep, because if I try to push through Thursday, all that's going to do is put me into a sleep deprivation cycle that's going to affect me Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The older you get, young guys out there, you don't recoup near as fast. And
caution, toll booth.
And I'm still on the toll booth at pickup. Told you so. So basically we just had to figure it out and get it handled. So that's pretty much what Thursday was. I did drive around the lake a little bit, checking out some of the other areas that we could launch. Stopped by the local bait store, of course, and yacked with a few people there. Just did a little bit of research where I could and what I was looking at. And at that point, drove about, 16, 17 miles back west to a town of Russell and found a hotel there, pretty inexpensive. So we got set up there and then got basically into my gear, got everything prepped the way we wanted to have it prepped. I left the trailer, after I cleaned up camp, I left the trailer just right at the campsite and then went and got some sleep. And so then got after it bright and ugly on Friday morning. So we were cut down on our pre-fishing a little bit, but we did have an opportunity to see pretty much what we wanted to see, at least for the first day. So we went out and went fishing on the first day, and I made the choice on day one to stick with a couple of patterns that I had found in pre-fishing, and I knew the weather conditions changed, but I was stubborn enough in my head that I wanted to force this situation, and I tried to push it. And unfortunately, that stubbornness, there's a fine balance of when do you change up, your game plan, right? You got a game plan, you're going into it, you read what's going on that morning and you go after it. And then I've been burnt both ways, where I gave up too soon, then come to find out that was the pattern that brought home the checks. And I've been burnt the other way, which was again on this day, which was I just held on to it too long, and by the time I figured out where they had gone, and I started getting into fish, I had the most odd, crazy garbage take place, and I had about 30 minutes to go in the day when this started happening. Earlier in the day, I had lost 2 fish on just poor hook sets, trying to catch up to them, not not getting a good hook set, not paying close enough attention, and I had 2 fish come unpinned, and that's totally on me. But then at the end of the day, I lost 3 fish to line breaking. After talking to a couple guys, about the only thing that I can think of was taking place was that I had some line, I had some fluorocarbon to braid leader, 10-pound test, that I have never in 4 years had an issue with. This stuff was actually snapping. It wasn't the knot, either knot. It wasn't at the bait. It wasn't at the FG knot. It was the distinct sound, and this is on hook sets. Hook, pow, real loud snapping. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? Thankfully, I had about an 8-foot leader on there, so I had plenty to work with. And so, yeah, bottom line is, I had just some goofiness going on. After consideration and looking at things, I have a feeling that these might have been a couple rods that I had left in the pickup, maybe in the sun, a little bit too much. And I mean, these, I will honestly admit, I've only tied them on at the beginning of the season. I just haven't used them that much because I'm not a big finesse guy. So I was moving to a finesse setup for this event, throwing a Ned rig style, and that's all I can think of, is that's what was happening at the end of the day. And so I literally had 3 very good fish. So I had 5 fish that I lost throughout the day. I only put 2 up on the board, so I wasn't overly upset about the day. I clearly got around some fish. I figured them out. It was, I made a lot of mistakes, right? And so it's like, you know what? I know I don't have any chance at cashing a check on day 2, but that's okay. This is the learning season for us, right? I mean, that's what this whole season is supposed to be, is to get me more comfortable with kayak tournament fishing and what it's going to take. So after day 1, also, by the way, I had so many just odd, goofy things taking place throughout the day that I ended up like cannibalizing several of my setups so that I could get, the right kind of line on a different rod or whatever. So out of 8 setups that I took out, when I got back, I had 3 that I could still cast. The other 5 were basically offline. So I literally spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours when I got back to the hotel that night with just re-rigging everything and getting things the way I wanted them, and changing. I had obviously changed up what I wanted to do and how I wanted to fish. So I had a new lineup that I wanted to put together. But I had to really, re-spooled several areas. I retied all my leaders with slightly heavier. I went to 12-pound test just because, I needed that confidence to know that I was dealing with something completely different. And so got all that set up, went back out on day 2. And I will say this, I did not get as many bites, but we did boat 2 smallmouth off of, 3 smallmouth off of a buzzbait in the morning. Unbelievable. I've caught smallmouth on freaking poppers and spooks. Never caught them on a buzzbait before. So that's awesome. That was a ton of fun. And then the other, so we put 4 fish up on the board. We got our 5th fish. I had 5 bites all day, and I boated every last one of them. None of them came unpinned, no lines broke, no nothing. Very happy to report that. The trick is, we learned a new solid lesson. So For those of you unaware of how Tourney X works, truck's going to talk to you again here about another toll booth coming up. But how Tourney X works is you catch the fish, you click submit, and then you can choose browse photos or capture photo. So I chose capture photo. You take a picture of the fish, and then it asks you, do you want to retake the picture, or is this picture okay? So in this case here,
toll booth.
I took a picture of the fish, 17-inch largemouth, biggest fish of the day for us. And, well, no, it wasn't. Scratch that. It was, actually it was for that day. Day one, we had a slightly bigger fish than that. But anyway, biggest fish for us that day, that would have been my 5th fish going up on the board. And I took the picture. He was bleeding from the gill a little bit, so I was kind of in a hurry, and so I picked him, slid him over, and put him in the water. When he went in, this is no BS, he splashed and a drop come up and hit my phone. And when it hit the phone, I shit you not, it hit the retake. And I didn't realize that water droplets could do that, but apparently they can. Or I bumped it, whatever you want to call it. Bottom line is, lost the picture, the fish was already back. No 5th fish on the board. Lesson learned. You don't release that fish. If anything, I put him back in the net, which is how I keep them safe. Is after I catch them, I get them unpinned, they go in my net, and then I can put them in the water safely and not lose them. And that's where he should have gone until I had the fish submitted and accepted at Tourney X. Lesson learned. We'll go forward with that. So anyway, we had a better day. We didn't catch as many fish, or get as many bites, but we did better, and there were better quality fish for sure that we were on. So that's pretty much it. That's how it went, man. Like I said, a lot of lessons learned, a lot of stuff that we're still ironing together, and this is all going towards next year, man. That's we don't have any illusions about, or delusions about, what we're doing this season. This season is the learning season, because next year we're going all in on the national side of things. We are going to make a decision. We have 3 national trails that we're going to choose from, and we're going to try to fish one of them wholeheartedly, and then the others we'll try to jump in here and there where we can. But we're going to choose between the KBF, Bass, and the All-American to try to get after this and follow this trail and series. So we're gonna look at things really, really close based on schedules and everything, and we're gonna go from there. So we got to get ready for that, and that's what we're aiming to do. But so we got a moderately quick turnaround here. We're heading back to Red Willow, Nebraska. That's very close to where Swanson was. Literally, we're staying at the same hotel. Instead of going 20-25 minutes back west from the hotel, we're going 15 minutes north, and we're going to hit Red Willow. Red Willow is supposed to have really good quality. We'll see what the water levels are at. We'll see what the temperature's looking like. It's looking like it's going to be another hot one. So I'm glad we got a hotel for the air conditioning, and we'll just see how all this pans out. But we'll make our decisions once we get there. We will be heading out on Thursday early to get there, because we're only about 4 hours from it. So we don't need to go up on that Wednesday. So we'll just get up nice and early Thursday morning, get on the road, and we'll pre-fish Thursday and Friday. And that's a one-day tournament. So we'll go after it on Saturday, and then we'll be on the way home on Sunday. So, but then we have a turnaround, because that one we will be leaving the following week on Wednesday, because we are heading to Lewis and Clark, which, dude, that is all the way up at the border of Nebraska and South Dakota. It's on the Missouri River. It's another All-American Kayak Series 2-day event. Super excited to go fish that one. Big fish, lots of fish. It's an area of the Missouri that I'm being told actually has some pretty good current running through it. And it actually isn't muddy up there. It's pretty clear. So I'm excited about this. This should be a lot of fun. Bucket list item to fish the Missouri. So should be a good time. So as always, folks, thank you for all the support. We appreciate it. Share the channel with whoever you think might be interested in it. And as always, tight lines, y'all. Be safe.